Just going to show you, John, what it is I'm doing. I've got these 48 scale plans for the HMS, let's see, HMS Atalanta. I'd never think of the Atalanta. It's a Swan class frigate. So these are 48 scale. Cost a little bit of money a couple of years ago. So these are the framing plans. These lines here, these are from looking from the stern forward. And these lines here are looking from the bow looking back. So each one of these is equivalent to this line in cross section. So what I'm doing is I've laid a grid. I've done a printout of these full size in 48 scale. I've just got a grid at 20 millimeters up and down, left and right, so that I can locate particular points on these curves. What I'm doing then is I'm making up a table of offsets. So for a particular frame, at 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, all the way through up here, I've got various offsets in millimeters. These plans, the table of offsets originally would have been in feet and inches. I haven't got access to that table of offsets, so I'm having to measure it up myself. So I'm gradually measuring each frame with a vernier, and it gets a bit tiresome, but yeah, what can you do if you want to mess around? And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to learn some of these programs. So by doing that, I then end up with this table of offsets, and then I'm using these. This is the offset in the X dimension. This is the offset in the Y dimension for each frame. I'm going through putting in one frame at a time. So I'm going to drag this window off screen so that I can see it off screen. Then I'm going to bring up Fusion. So currently I've got these frames, each one of these points there is equivalent to the plan that I've got. So what I'm going to do, I've got various frames. If I turn it around, it gives us an idea of what's going on. Come to the front. Oh yeah, from the right hand side. I'll look back. I'll turn off the other frame so I don't get confused as to what I'm doing. Turn on this particular origin, and then what I'm going to do is start creating some of these points. So I'll create a point, and I'll start it at 0. Enter. And then referring to the table of offsets, the first frame is at minus 4.5 in the X, which is over here. So I hit M, select what I'm going to move, translate. So the X is minus 4.5 and the Y distance is 0. I'm going to create a copy of that origin. So I'm making a copy of that particular point to start with from the origin. So all of my measurements now, these measurements in future are going to be referenced to there, and that lines up then with the table of offsets. So click OK. I've created that point. I'm going to turn that plane off just so it's not in the way. Now I'm going to have a look at the next one. Hit M, move, create a copy, do a translate, then create a copy. I'll get tripped up over that. The next one is minus 53.75, and that's at a Y offset of 20 millimeters. So that's got these 2 points. Now the next one, M. I seem to remember in AutoCAD released 12 3D many years ago, back in the 90s when I was doing it. The most used commands would come up, and I'm using this one continuously, so I don't understand why it doesn't default to this. Could just be a limitation of the program, more than likely is, or I just haven't sorted out the preferences yet. So this one should be 40 up. Create a copy. So there we go, that one there. M there. Translate, create a copy. Next one is minus 99.75, and that's at 60. This is quite a long way, quite a long-winded way of doing it. There's probably a way to import these numbers as a sheet and create the splines automatically. As it is, I know nothing about that right now. So minus 108.5. So the good thing is learning this point command enabled me to get this get these points, because I want to use the spline command up here, but I need certain locations to be nailed, and the only way I could figure that was using the point command. So if it's correct, probably not, but this is the way I'm doing it so far. So there's another one made. So the next one, M up, translate, create a copy, 120 mil up, referring to my table of offsets, is minus 109.5. So you can see this is where we're going to be joining with a spline. Next one is 140. Back to the table of offsets, minus 103.25. Copy, translate, copy, 160. And minus 97. Translate, copy, and let's see, the next one only translates up to 176.5. 176.5, because there's a step in the hull, and it's minus 94. So that one, all of those points are complete. So now I'll join them with a spline. As I say, I'm sure there's much quicker ways of doing this, and probably better ways, more efficient as well. I'll now finish the sketch. So if I turn on the other frames, that's how it looks, back through to front, coming forward. What I might do now, let's see, rotate. I'm in surface, I'll do a loft. do an orbit. And there's part of the hull looking from the rear. We're almost at the mid-section. There's a few more sections to do. But I think it's pretty good for someone who only started this shit, what is it, last week I think? About 7 days ago, so... Fusion's not as intuitive as I was hoping it'd be, but yeah, it's what it is. So what I'll be doing is I'll zoom out a bit and I'll keep bringing frames forward up until around here, and then we should have a fully developed hull. I just thought you'd like to see what I was doing, John. But yeah, that point command, it's quite good. Okay, catch you, John. Bye.